Hey friends, before we get going on this episode of Finnegan's Garage, I'd like to talk to you about something that matters. A t-shirt. But not just any t-shirt. A t-shirt with a slogan we can all get behind. Because at the end of the day, all that really matters in life is getting from here to here before the other guy. And making America fast again. Feel like I do? Then head on over to fsmgarage.com right now and get a shirt and wear it proudly. I'm Mike Finnegan, and I approve of this message. You know, there's times when my mom says I have impeccable timing. She might be right. I've owned this truck for months, haven't washed it once, because it's pretty much been raining or snowing in Georgia the entire time I've had it. But today, of all days, I took this 2006 Chevrolet 3500 crew cab diesel and I got it washed, clay barred, buffed, waxed, polished it within an inch of its life. And what's going to happen now? Yep, it's going to rain in Georgia again. What the hell? Say hello to J-Lo. Why another truck? Well, I needed a tow pig. The ramp truck is awesome at hauling blasphemy, even if it gets 8 miles to the gallon. But it will not haul my drag boat inside of an enclosed trailer, which is what I need. You can't insure a drag boat. So if you leave it outside a hotel at night while you're asleep and it gets ripped off, you're screwed. You're not getting it back, nor are you getting any money to replace your investment. So had to buy an enclosed trailer for the drag boat so I could go racing. Needed a truck that will tow it. Ramp truck's not going to do it. I don't want to drop 70 grand on a brand new pickup that'll haul that trailer. So I went used. I found this thing on Craigslist while I was sitting at an airport. It's only got 71,000 miles on it. It's in great shape other than a few rock chips and some electrical work I've got to do. And it already has a few mods done to it that I would have done myself anyway. Like these. 22.5-inch Alcoas off of a big rig that have already been machined down to fit low-profile 22-inch car tires. That's pretty damn cool. And according to everybody I talk to that's hauling trailers on tires like these, they wear pretty good. They won't last a long time, but they wear pretty good. In the coming months, I'm going to check out these wheels and tires. I'm going to report back what I think, how it rides, how they're wearing, what it means to machine down a set of 22.5-inch wheels to fit 22-inch tires. I'm going to tell you guys all of that. And right now, I'm going to show you the good and the not so good aspects of life with J-Lo. So here's something interesting. This truck only has 22s on 4 out of the 6 wheels. The inside wheels are actually stock 16-inch steel wheels with low-profile tires that are basically the same diameter as the 22s that are on the outside. Now the outside are all 275, 45 R22 Pirelli Scorpion Zero tires. A model that Pirelli probably never intended to be put on a 1-ton truck. So I crawled into the back of the truck just to check things out, and I noticed that these 22-inch tires are getting really thin in the middle. And meanwhile, the 16s, those things are just fine. So I think sooner rather than later, I'm going to end up buying another set of 22s to run on the inside to replace those 16s so that I have the exact same circumference tire on both wheels. Because you know I'm not putting 16s on the outside of this thing. Can't roll on no BS wheels. I don't know how it happens, but like every Chevy truck of this era, the UV rays screw with the plastic, and I think the pigment just kind of bleeds out of it or something, because over time, everything's not quite black anymore. This is fresh from the car wash, so they know they stuck whatever pimp juice they got on it to make it shiny again, but everything's not quite black anymore. Which is interesting, because at some point, somebody spray tinted most of the lenses in this truck so it has a black and white look to it. The bow tie is black. You can see these corner marker lights are tinted black. They still light up fine. You can see them. But he did the cab lights black. These marker lights. He even tinted the tail lights, which I'm guessing at some point I'm gonna get pulled over for that. Maybe, maybe not. I like the look though, so it's cool. Here is one of the less than stellar mods done to this truck. That's a backup camera. It's just kind of dangling. It used to be mounted, but it fell off. And you need this because all the side windows in this truck, including the rear one, are pretty much limo tint. I think that's as dark as you can go. So at night, when you want to back up anywhere, forget about it. You're rolling the windows down no matter how cold outside it is. So I need to fix that camera. That's the first thing. The interior's great. I mean, it's faded, yeah, but there's no rips, no tears. Doesn't really smell like anybody smoked in this thing. And it does have a system, which is nice. Check this out. Got a speaker box back there. That's a Sony Explode. Looks like a 12-inch subwoofer from here. I don't know. We've got an Alpine amp in here, installed pretty damn good. It's powering all 4 door speakers, and 2 of the channels are bridged mono, running that one 12-inch subwoofer behind the seat. Not a bad system, all things considered. Let's check out the dashboard, shall we? Got an aftermarket head unit by JVC. It will play DVDs, which is great for those long trips. It is touchscreen, which is fun. You know, forward, back, all that stuff. It has an input for a backup camera, which if it wasn't dangling on the back of the truck, I would show you. I don't think you really want to see the ground right now. I don't know, maybe you do. It has multiple outputs for amplifiers, subwoofer control. It's really cool. However, this must be an older model because no Bluetooth connectivity. Which means, Mom, when you call me in the truck, I'm riding dirty. To the right of the HVAC controls, that right there is a Viair single needle air pressure gauge. A couple of momentary buttons that are working the up and down solenoids for the rear airbags on this. That's right. Throw something heavy in the bed or hitch up a heavy trailer and we can fix the stance and the ride quality. Haven't used it yet because it's totally useless when not towing. We've got a power programmer from Edge Performance Products. This is called the Evolution. It's got all kinds of built-in gauges. You know, you can see your speed, your engine RPM, transmission fluid temp, boost pressure. I'll have another video just on hopping up the engine in some way, shape, or form. Look at that, stock Duramax. Unmolested. Stock air intake. Everything's there. Ooh, except some shady wiring that I need to investigate. Check that out at some point. But otherwise, 71,000 miles, allegedly well maintained. I'm going to change the fluids just in case. Few things in life are perfect. I get that. But when your tweeter falls out of your door and is just kind of dangling down there by your mid-range, at some point, you probably ought to fix that, which is what I'm going to do. Here's a quick tip for you guys at home that want to work on your interiors or your car audio systems. These tools are invaluable. These are clip removers or panel poppers, and these are the kind of things that you'll use to prevent damaging your door panels when taking them apart. And these right here, same kind of principle. These are designed to go into your interior trim panels, separating them without marring them. Made out of plastic, they work really well. They're great for popping off trim pieces like this and like this without screwing up your delicate interior. Most of this stuff is held on by clips, and if you were to just grab it by your fingernails or your fingers and lift up on it, you're actually stressing the plastic. And as this stuff gets older, if it doesn't crack on you, you'll at least see the stress marks in it. You'll see it in the plastic. So you can buy these at your local auto parts store. I got these at O'Reilly's. I think this set of plastic ones was like, there's probably 5 pieces in this set. This set was like 15 bucks. These were about 10 bucks a piece. There's 2 different ones. The smaller one is meant for those clips where the center pops up and then the whole clip comes out. This is for those larger ones that look like kind of like a Christmas tree once you pull it out. It's kind of serrated. There you go. That's all you need to take a door panel off. Well, that and basic hand tools. So check it out. This is how this works. Just slides in there. And a little bit of leverage. And you can pull it off. There's your Christmas tree clip. Much safer way of doing it than simply grabbing the panel and pulling the panel and the clip together. That will just result in a broken clip and a damaged panel. Looks like our tweeter was hot glued into our door panel there. Not the best way to mount it. Here's the factory grill. You don't want to try to remove this from the front side of the door panel. It's got these tabs here that are actually bent on the back side of the door panel. So if you try to pry this thing off from the front with any of your cool tools, you're just going to mangle the grill. Same goes for this switch panel right here. The back side of it lifts up. It's got a clip in there, but the front side has a screw coming up from the back side of the door panel. So if you try to wrestle this thing out, you're just going to break the switch panel here. So get the door panel off, then remove these things from the back side if you need to. So from the factory, this truck has a 6.5-inch component speaker system. That's a 6.5-inch mid-range speaker here and a tweeter here. They've been replaced. You can see the aftermarket tweeter was just hot glued in there. But for some reason, the screws were missing out of this thing. So our tweeter was just dangling in there. Yeah, well, look at that. Okay, so that's why it fell out. Ah, yeah, these are junk. Past experience working as a car stereo installer taught me to use a drywall screw guide like this when installing new speakers, because if you slip, you're less likely to punch a hole through the speaker with this than you are with that. It's a little bit of insurance. Screw will go through the tweeter mount, through the door panel, right through the speed clip. Speed clip will go right up against the back side of the door panel, bridging the massive hole there. That'll work. All right, tweeter's fixed. Let's put the grill back in. And there we go, fixed. Now I get to put it back together. Well, I've got the driver's side door panel apart because I noticed the tweeter is not functioning. Mid-range is working, tweeter not so much. And this looks like a crossover built in there, which is basically a filter. Filters out the low and mid-range frequencies, so only the high frequencies go to the tweeter. And it was connected, just was not working. So I'm gonna send some voltage to the tweeter and see if I can pulse it from here and see if it's not totally dead. And if that doesn't work, I'm gonna pull the mid-range out and see if there's something going on in the wiring back there. Because although this sounds okay, it could sound better. That's what I'm saying. If your stereo doesn't sound good, you don't know the history of it, you're curious about whether or not the speakers are wired correctly, all you need is a battery and a couple of pieces of wire, and you can bump these speakers with the battery, watch which way they move, and then you'll know whether it's wired right or not. So if one speaker is wired correctly, positive wire going to the positive terminal of the speaker, negative wire going to the negative terminal, and the speaker on the opposite side of the car is wired backwards, it will not sound right. You won't hear good bass, it'll just sound muddled. And in the moment you flip those wires correctly, suddenly everything sounds great again. So it's also a good way to test speakers, whether or not they even function, is to just tape a pair of wires to the positive and negative terminal of the battery, touch them to the terminal of the speaker, listen. If you hear something, speaker might be okay. If you don't hear anything, voice coil's probably shot. Blue is positive, gray is negative. All I gotta do now is touch these to my speaker and watch it move and listen for noise. It's an Alpine speaker. Cool. Not bad. Right now we'll just use the magnet to stick it to the door. Okay. So I'm going to wire the gray, which is running from the negative side of the battery, to the negative terminal of the speaker. I'm going to wire the blue from the positive side of the battery to the positive side of the speaker. If the cone moves out, we've wired it correctly. If the cone moves in, it's backwards. All right, that's wired correctly. If the tweeter doesn't make any noise, there's an issue with the tweeter. If the tweeter makes noise, then there's something wrong with our wiring between here and there. Yep, I think our tweeter is shot. Well, that's a bummer. I have to go buy a tweeter. Ooh, look, Nick Cage. Ha ha, on Finnegan's Garage. Probably gonna get sued for that. And granted, I like this movie, Gone in 60 Seconds. In fact, as weird as it is, I like the original Gone in 60 Seconds. But this footy of Eleanor jumping a tow truck, no bueno, Nick Cage. I know it's not your fault, but no bueno. All right, get ready to suspend your disbelief. Fake footage there. Fake footage there. And hello, computer-generated graphics. That is truly awful. All right, enough Nick Cage. We know how this ends.